down a little on what OBV is, but my guests here will definitely do a better job than me. Honorable Gathoni Wamuchomba, karibu sana, MP Githunguri, and of course Lucy Muthoni, who is a midwife. Karibuni sana, ladies. Thank you for joining me tonight. So, I did say you'll break down what OBV is. Yeah. I did our viewers a favor, I believe, kidogo tu, and broke it down, but you will do a better job than me. But for now, I want us to remove the hats that we wear as lawmaker, as midwife, Lucy, and talk as women, and talk as mothers. And Mahesh, I want to start with you, because on October 4th, I believe, you did say that you were a victim of OBV.
Somehow.
Yes, that is what I want us to talk about.
But I would want first of all to tell our viewers what is OBV. Na kwanza kabisa nataka kuleta salamu. You know, when you're an elected member of parliament, you must make sure that you carry your constituents everywhere. Yes. And so I must salute my Githunguri voters and all my viewers. I'm sure there's so many people waiting for this discussion. And I'm glad that I'm here.
Right.
Today I've had a very heavy day. I started off in Embu. I was in Manyata constituency and did a few other stopovers in Nyeri. And now I'm here.
Wow.
Yes.
I appreciate you making time.
Yeah. And so I want to thank everybody who's been with me today, especially my very good friends from Meru and Embu. So now, as a mother and as a woman leader, I'm very passionate about the issue of OBV. OBV is obviously, like you said, obstetric violence. This is violence against women whose rights, birth rights, are violated along the process of pre-labor, labor, delivery, and immediately after delivery. There are all sorts of violations, you know, physical abuse, verbal abuse, psychological abuse, mental abuse, and even to some extent economic abuse. You know, when you detain a woman in a labor ward with a newborn, with an infant, just because she's not cleared her bill, and subject the child and her, you know, her 24 hours, 42 hours, 36 hours, and so on, of her maternity postpartum period, that to me is a violation. Personally, I don't want to really dwell on my case because I am not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for the women who have no voice. And because we have a platform, most of us, especially like us who are, you know, in the arena, she's in the hospitals, every other day. I'm in the villages all the other time, and I listen to the story. So I don't want to capitalize on my story, but I want to capitalize on that very story that is coming from Kibera, that is coming from...
It's important, Mahesh, because people would relate with you. They would see even Gathoni has gone through this, the same thing that I experienced.
You know, when I'm telling stories, I don't like personalizing stories because you may look like it's all about you. It has been about me for so long. Now it's about them. And that is what I would want to focus more on. And I'm here not to just talk about, you know, the violations of women's rights during childbirth, but also to urge, you know, all the stakeholders to allow us to embrace this as a problem for all of us. Because once we start saying this is a problem that is only, you know, coming from the hospital administration, or coming from the government's public hospitals, or coming from the midwives, or coming from the doctors, we'll never get a solution. I believe the moment a community identifies a problem and accepts this is our community problem, the community itself is able to come up with solutions. So I'm here to plead with my audience tonight, first of all, to appreciate that OBV, violations of women's rights during childbirth and after childbirth, are present and very rampant in Kenya. I also want to plead with our audience not to lay fingers on who is the perpetrator, because we are all victims of OBV, not only women, but also for men. I also want to plead that we do not sit and start laying blames on who does what and who does what. She's a midwife, she'll tell you. Even for us women who are going to those labor wards, we also have our own problems of perceptions and attitudes. How do we respond to even those nurses when they are under pressure? Do we force them to react the way they do react to us? But I was telling my sister the other day, we have so much like normalized OBV, like it is part of life. I mean, it's normal for you to go to the hospital and the nurse asks you, you're very pretty pregnant, and the nurse asks you, what have you come to do? I mean, and that time maybe your blood pressure is very high, your insulin is misbehaving,
Right.
and you just feel like you can, you know, like you are done. And somebody asks you, what have you come to do?
Right.
It's just like normal to be slapped in the labor ward. People have a normalized slapping and shouting and being called names as a normal way of giving birth. But that's not normal.
Right.
I am a dairy farmer, and I kept telling my sister, I will give her an opportunity to introduce herself and tell her something. But I was telling her I'm a dairy farmer.